Yeah.
All right,
We have a
another
related chat, actually. Zach from Michigan, just talking about Governor Whitmer. He said he's just curious, if I take my fishing boat out and receive a fine, is this something that they can actually do, or is there any legal action that could be taken for denying my constitutional rights / freedom, considering we do live in the USA?
That is an interesting question. Bill, what would happen? Let's say someone took a fishing boat out and were given a fine.
So I don't follow Michigan law because I don't care. But but here's the reality, right? Every county has their own rules, and if the rules are there and they're written and they're clear and they're being communicated, you should follow those rules. Here's the practical effect. Let's say it's unconstitutional. You and your boat. You're going to go hire a lawyer and fight for, spend
Right,
$50,
yeah.
$100, $250,000 litigating your right to go out in a boat. Maybe, maybe not, right? I mean, it's a tough situation. But that's the practical reality and the impact of these laws is, they'll have governors and, county commissioners and mayors who will just go, well, let's just go ahead and write this law. We're going to write a 3-page law, and we're just going to say nobody can go out and do this thing without actually thinking about what the practical impact of that is. So in that situation, you should follow the law. And even if you think it's unconstitutional, you're probably going to have a bigger problem just disobeying it.
And more sheriffs, I would support you guys flagrantly disregarding the unconstitutional regulations from the governors.
That's the place where we need to get more guidance is the local politicians. We talked about this before. When they decide to go and a sheriff says, I'm not going to follow the governor's rule because I think it's unconstitutional, they are putting their dicks on the line right there in that moment and saying, we're not going to prosecute it in this county, which is fine, or we're not going to arrest people in this county. They may face consequences. They may be ousted.
And it's a horrible position to put sheriffs in. People who are the kind of police officers who you want right out there, and I get it, not all cops are perfect and not all cops are bad guys. Let's be really clear about that. They're human beings like any other profession. But the kind of cops who you want taking that oath are the kind of police officers and sheriffs that you see in Leelanau and is it Manistee County? I know there were a few in northern Michigan. Those are the kinds of police officers you want because they're saying, hey, listen, I don't want this authority. I'm not granted this authority to tell people that they can't use their fishing boat. I'm not going to fine them because I am here to uphold the constitutional law of the United States. It's a horrible position to put those kinds of officers, the kinds of officers and sheriffs who we want out there in when you demand that they enforce unconstitutional regulations. And that might discourage people from becoming police officers in the future who you want being cops. You end up with nothing but mall cops and rent-a-cops who are on a power trip. We don't want that. We want sheriffs who say, I don't want to exercise this authority.
And you know what's we call this the Batman investigation rule. I don't know if for anyone who follows comics, there's this like running joke in the comic books that they would have a Batman task force, and it would be like the most junior, blind, deaf Helen Keller detective in a room without any lights, and they're like, "All right, go get him." Yeah, because they just didn't care. They didn't want to get him, and that is within the discretion. There is the ability to say, "Oh, yeah, we're upholding it, and we got our best guy on it.
We're doing our best."
Helen Keller, how's it going over there? I mean, you just don't put your energy into it, right? Now, of course, if you're flagrantly violating the law in front of a cop, now you've put that cop on the spot,
right? No, of course,
you know what I'm saying, and you're not even giving them an opportunity to look the other way.
No, exactly.
And there's a prosecutorial discretion even at the attorney, the DAs and that kind of thing. So, you know what I like about this is America finds a way to have common sense even when the politicians and the media is saying otherwise.
America finds a way.
That's true. Well, and I think that's what you do as a citizen in these situations. You find out, no pun intended, the hill to die on, right? I choose really bad ones. You should probably choose better ones.
Yeah.
At some point, this becomes something where you go out on the lake in a boat just to protest, right? But I don't think we're at that point yet. I think what they did in Michigan was great, where they drove into the Capitol and they just basically locked everything down. They were still social distancing from one another, but they did something in protest saying, hey, this isn't right. And also they pushed back and said, look, we don't like what you've done. And guess what? We're going to vote. We're going to vote, and we're going to use that to get people out of office that have done that. And by the way, Wade edited that question. It was Governor Half Whitmer, and he skipped right over that.